Hey guys, Lizardlea here for Tiny Stockings Cat 2 times. So yeah, it's Plaid Bucilla. I feel like I pronounce it a different way every single time I say it, but it's Tiny Stockings Ornaments, and we're doing this kitty again. Oh, it was starting to focus. It's just too reflective because of the plastic, maybe? Will this one work? There we go. So I'm going to be doing this cat twice. So my best friend Holka, she wants me to make one for her sister, and I'm also making one for my friend Robert. So I get to do it twice, which means it'll be on this channel 3 times. So because I did this one last year, the year before, I did it the year before. I did that one for David's mom. So you've already seen me film that one the normal way. So I'm gonna find other places to put the camera. And now I'm yawning. Excuse me. I'm gonna find somewhere else to put the camera so you can get a different angle because I'm doing the same one. There's no reason for me to film it the same way as before, because you could just go back to that video and watch that one. So honestly, I was thinking like up here on my mini desk, I guess, and then maybe here. I don't know if it'll reach. It should. It'll reach. So yeah, we'll see. I told people, I was like, pick the one you want. Like, if I've already done it, I'll do it again. I don't care. And then they both picked the cat. In Holka's defense, she picked it like 2 weeks ago. Did she pick it before my MS diagnosis? So then it would have been like 3 or 4 weeks ago. She picked it first, and then Robert picked it yesterday. But he has 3 cats, so I hang out with cat people, dude. I also hang out with dog people. Like I prefer cats, but I still love dogs. So it's whatever. And then as of right now, there's only one other that I'm doing after the 2 cats. That's just as of right now, though. That could change, because my friend Mark might be coming over, and I'll if he wants one, I'll make him one. Like, I'm making these for my coworkers. I'm making these for people I've literally never spoken a single word to. So I am completely willing to make them for my friends. My coworkers don't get to pick out the ones that they want, though. Like, I'm not doing that. But my friends and family get to. Well, sometimes. Sometimes I also am just like, this person will like this one, so I'm going to make them that. Yeah. I'm going to go stitch now. And now we're going to talk about Severance. That was on HBO Max?
Apple TV.
Apple TV. I think that's the first thing we've watched on Apple TV.
It's, I think, the only thing anyone's watched on Apple TV.
If you haven't seen it, I totally recommend it. Like, I am on the same page as your mom of saying Mr. Robot is the way better show, but it's still really good. The concept is really intriguing, and I like where they take it.
Yeah. So the brief synopsis, which will sound spoilery, but they show you this in the first few minutes of the show. Mm-hmm. There's a large group of people who basically, or not a large group of people, there's people at this company who work there. And what the company does is so top secret or whatever that to work there, or at least in certain positions,
you have to become severed.
And severing basically splits you into two people. So those of you who are Scanner Darkly fans and watching the Cross Stitch channel, congrats, we found something for you. And if anyone gets that joke, I'll be impressed. So it's really interesting because they are completely separate people. Like, what that person remembers. So we meet a character who literally just wakes up in an office, and she's on a table, and someone's reading her or talking to her through an intercom. And it's very interesting because it's basically like she was just born there, essentially. She's not a complete child. She knows what states are. She has a concept of many things. She can obviously talk, function, dress herself, etc.
Yeah, but if they ask her, like, what's your birthday? She doesn't remember.
Or where are we?
Doesn't remember.
Yeah, lots.
Like,
and
she's asked a ton of questions, and I think the only one she can answer is, can you name a state?
Yeah.
And she says, like, Delaware.
Yeah, and even then she's still not sure.
Yeah.
You know?
She's like, is that the right answer? And they're like, it was, the perfect answer.
So yeah.
Were they actually in whatever state she said?
I don't believe so, to be remembering. It's been a while, though.
I don't remember.
So yeah, there's a lot going on there that's just really, really interesting. The sets are very interesting, the layout of the place, there's just a lot of cool mysteries. I told many people this, it reminds me a bit of Westworld Season 1. I don't think it's quite as good as that.
I have to agree.
But it's still got a lot of the, this is intriguing because I want to know what's happening. Why is this happening? What's happening here?
What would I do if I were in this world?
Exactly, and it's very clever. So, with that said, it doesn't answer everything in the first season. It's multiple seasons, and
but the guy who wrote it intentionally wants it to be more than one season.
Yes.
He has written already at least 2 seasons, I believe.
Something like that. He has a
plan. Yeah, that's what matters.
They aren't just gonna it'll be what it'll be, and we'll figure it out later. Supposedly they have a plan. Now, just because they have a plan doesn't mean it'll be followed, doesn't mean it'll be executed well, doesn't mean it's a good plan, and doesn't mean they're not lying, because let's be fair, not a lot of people who make $1 million shows go, yeah, I'm completely winging it, we'll see what happens, in the interviews, because, people...
That doesn't go over well.
It doesn't go over well. The answer is to lie. So...
but because there was payoff for so many plot lines, and it was good, I feel like as long as they keep that momentum and the people involved, they'll be able to pull it off.
Yeah, no. So far, I am very, very impressed. They did such a good job. The characters, the set. There's a moment in the end of the show that is a little frustrating, but they pull out of it. I was really worried they were going to do stuff that was going to annoy me, and they spend an entire episode almost doing it, and then no, they mostly get away from that, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do. I was actually going to say one of the things I remember you pointing out was there's, the person who chose to be severed, has all their memories, goes to the workplace, drops off their stuff, they walk into an elevator, and as the elevator descends, the camera
moves or something.
Yeah, like it almost looks like it's like fisheye lens isn't. I mean,
think the
that
rough
could have been
idea
what
of
they
what
use,
they're
but
doing...
like it looks like they get fatter. They don't, but it gives the illusion of like something has changed. So that's when you realize, the severed personality is coming out, and the other person is going to sleep, and that was like visually a great way of showing that without making it blatantly obvious.
I think the rough idea, and it's a little more technical than this, of what they're doing is they're dollying the camera backwards while they zoom in, or zooming in while they move the camera out. Zooming out while they move. Yeah,
that's basically what it is. Yeah,
and
it's so weird. It's the strangest effect.
Yeah, and this was clearly. There's a lot of really cool set design. There's a lot of wacky stuff going on. They did a really good job with it, and I can't point to anything I didn't like off the top of my head.
I mean, the final episode, there were points that annoyed me.
Well, I think that's
with those characters, but it makes sense because they do not know the real world.
Yeah, and like something else that's interesting about the show that you learn fairly quickly is it's not exactly clear what they're doing and why. Even to them.
Oh, yeah, no, they're filing numbers,
And there are certain ones that make you feel a certain way. And so, like, Helly, the girl that the show opens up with, is brand new, and she's learning it, so, you know, we get to learn with her. And the guys tell her, like, oh, yeah, when you see these numbers that make you feel afraid, scared, those go into this folder. And she's like, how are they going to make me feel that way? What are you talking about? Mm-hmm. And so, you know, time goes by, and then one day she's like, oh, my gosh, you guys, I think I get it. Like, I'm afraid, like, looking at these numbers. So everybody crowds around her, and they're like, yep, you're right, that's it. And they're all really proud of her. Mm-hmm. And she files them, and she doesn't feel afraid anymore. And then she's happy because she gets it now. Mm-hmm. But I was just like, the idea of a grouping of numbers making you feel a certain way is so intriguing. Yep. But we never learn why they make her feel that way, what those numbers represent. Or at least I didn't feel that we learn it. So, like, it's a super mystery. So it's kind of almost like, why are the people severed if they don't even understand what their job is doing?
There's What's the point? Lot of what is going on here. Mm-hmm. And while both you and I have a zillion theories.
Oh my God, so many theories.
And they're all pretty well validated up to a point. I don't want to spoil any of that. So highly, 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 highly recommend. One of the best things I've seen in the last year or so easily was Severance. So very good, much to watch.
Like, I especially like just the thought process that this show takes you down. Because it's like, if this were a real thing, you know, in the real world, would I choose to be severed so that I'm not depressed with working? Mm-hmm. But then there's also the issue of, do I want to create this separate personality in myself that literally all they do all day is work? Like, that sounds like torture to me. Like, I don't know if I want to do that to a part of myself.
One of the big things that doesn't quite click, or it didn't quite click for me until, like, you hear the concept and you're like, okay, that's interesting. But it didn't really click for me until you watch the show that one of the, like, for these characters who are severed, for the ones who are at work, they're always at work. It's like when you go to leave the building, you suddenly are entering the building again. You're always at work. You're never at home. You're never outside. You're never off the clock. You never get to sleep. Even though your body has slept, even though all that's happened, you never are anywhere else. And that's pretty interesting.
Sounds horrific. But also, you do suffer from the effects of what your outie, that's what they're called. The ones in the company that are working are innies, and the ones outside are outies. Yeah. If your outie spent last night partying and getting drunk, you will feel hungover. And you're going to be miserable at work. And I just... Like, I know it's still me, but I don't think I could do that to myself. I don't think I could.
Yeah, it's...
Unless I know that it's going to be me that is still... me, has my personality and my memories. I still don't think I could. Because then all you're going to remember from then on out would be work. And that's horrible.
Yeah, so it's a really cool show. It's weird. It's kind of messed up. Not super messed up, but it could get there.
I mean, there were a couple moments.
Actually, no, there's one pretty bad moment, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that in the moment. So yeah, it's not for everybody, but it's good.
Like, if you liked Mr. Robot, I recommend this one. I think Mr. Robot's better, personally, but I recommend it. I think this one's really good and worth
Mr.
watching.
Robot, Westworld Season 1, all of them are, like...
Yeah, they're all in, like, a similar box.
Some of the early Game of Thrones stuff, you know, just, like, really well-written, really clever shows with a lot going on. Mm-hmm. And just some of my favorites, at least. So, yeah. So, do you want to move on to something else, since I don't know how else to discuss Severance without spoiling the heck out of it?
What else do we have to talk about?
We have, hold please, Reservoir Dogs.
Oh! So, if you guys have seen Reservoir Dogs, it's by Quentin Tarantino?
Yeah.
So...
he makes good movies.
I knew this movie had characters that were referred to by their color. You know, like there's a Mr. Pink, Mr. Blonde, Mr. White. And that was the extent of it, you guys. I knew Nothing else. So when Robert and David were like, oh yeah, Liz hasn't seen Reservoir Dogs. She needs to see it. I was like, oh, is that the one with the people that are referred to by their color? They're like, yeah, that's the one. And then I was like, are there... I can't say it. Are there bear suits? And you both were just like, what? And I was like, yeah, they're all in bear suits, and they're in different colors. So, like, Mr. Pink is a pink bear. Mr. White is white bear. And eventually, Robert realized what I was talking about. I think he was the one who was like, Sean Connery's in it, right? And I was like, yeah! And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. That's the Avengers that I grew up watching. It's
not Marvel Avengers like you're thinking of. It's a movie called The Avengers. It was based on
from like the
show.
80s or the 90s. That's where I was about to get to when you interrupted me.
Sorry, okay.
Because I said I grew up watching it. I didn't grow up watching The Avengers. I was not a baby when The Avengers came out. And so, instead of watching Reservoir Dogs, Robert and I tortured David by making him watch The Avengers from the 80s or 90s, whenever it was.
I've seen a lot of bad movies. That is a very bad movie.
Yeah. So we have a thing in this house where we like to torture people by making them watch terrible movies, like Neil Breen.
Those are the worst movies.
What?
Those are the worst movies.
Oh, I thought you decided Avengers was worse, no?
No, I said Avengers was a nice if you wanted to ease someone into Neil Breen, you would start with
The Room?
The Room, and then you'd watch The Avengers, and then you could go full Breen, maybe with a stop for Plan 9 for Outer Space.
I haven't seen that one.
Well, we can fix that.
No, that sounds terrible.
It's a classic.
If it's worse than The Avengers and it's down there with Neil Breen, I'm good.
It made me feel things I've never felt before or since.
That sounds terrible.
It's a unique experience.
So, I know it's not on the list, but we did watch it first. Would you like to discuss The Avengers?
I feel like we just did.
Uma Thurman's in it.
Sean Connery's in it.
Sean Connery's in
and
it.
I think it's
Voldemort's in it.
He was better in The Menu. Where he had a career.
That was how it got really crazy, because we watched The Menu because Robert told us to. Then we watched The Avengers and he happened to freaking be in that movie, and we were all just like, what a coink-dink.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Oh my god, but it's like, it's
the
so
end
ridiculous.
of Sean Connery's career.
It's based on a comic that Robert made actually sound like it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I believe
and
it
is, understandable. But this movie is just ridiculous.
You'll buy your weather from me, but they already do.
Yeah.
The movie, to understand why we're laughing in part, the movie legitimately makes no sense. Part of that is because 30 minutes of the movie was cut from its final version, which sounds like it would make things better if you included that in, but it actually somehow makes the movie worse from everything anyone's ever learned about it. It is a mess of a movie. It's trying to make you think that Uma Thurman is maybe multiple personality disorder, but no, she's really just got a twin who's maybe a clone. But in the original script, she's a robot. There's so much wrong with what they're doing, and it's so hard to look at any of it and be like, oh, that makes sense. That's okay, because it's not okay. None of this is okay. It's such a flippin' mess, and to their credit, everyone gives as good a performance as they can. It's not like anyone's a bad actor in this. Like, Sean Connery sends it. He walks out there in that kilt and gives the doomsday. Like, he basically, after playing Bond for years, he gets to be a Bond villain in a movie that doesn't have a script. It does, multiple times, characters black out or are in trouble or, in enemy clutches, and then we just cut to another scene where they're not anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, did they leave? Okay, time out, we're gonna go home and take a nap.
Yeah.
It is...
not worth seeing. Unless you like bad movies.
I mean, well, and then there's the bear scene. Because they have, Sean Connery has to have his evil talk with all the other people involved with him. But he needs to make sure that nobody...
They're anonymous, basically. That's
they don't know who each other are. So he has them in giant, colored, Care Bear-looking suits. And these things are huge. And then they, walk around the building in them and do work. And, it's
One of them has a gun.
Yeah.
Right? It looks ridiculous. But my favorite part about that scene, Sean Connery, after, doing his quick little spiel, takes off his hat. So it's why were you even wearing the bear suit to begin with,
Well, because he
Sean
knows
Connery?
who they are, and they know who he is. He said he's the only person who doesn't have to wear the bear suit.
So
but he's still in a bear suit!
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Why did he even walk in with it?
The whole thing is just...
And then he has a device that controls the weather, and he's gonna either throw, tornadoes and stuff at people, or they're gonna have to pay him a lot of money to not do that.
But they could already buy the weather from him, so I don't know what the... It barely makes... it does not make any sense. It almost pretends to make sense, and then it only gets worse from there. So
but you know what? The best part was Eddie Izzard. He is one of the thugs. He does not say
he is the Bond henchman villain. The Bond
thug.
villain. No, not a thug. He is the lead thug. He is the head thug. They're we need someone tough, someone intimidating, someone like Jaws, who people are going to talk about forever. What's Eddie Izzard doing? And if you know who Eddie Izzard is, you now know how bad this movie is. And he made the most intelligent decision of his career, which was to not talk at all during this movie. So he could save his career with the blind population.
Every time you made that joke, Robert laughed, and I never did once. I don't find it funny.
That's fine.
I don't know. Because I actually thought he was spectacular in that role. I thought he did a great job.
He did what he
saved
could.
that freaking movie.
No, he did
Yes,
what he
did.
could. It's so
Because
weird.
they wanted him to talk, and I've heard Eddie Izzard talk.
Yeah.
He's not an intimidating man based on his voice. But based on his looks, when he wants to look angry, he looked more intimidating than the other thugs.
I mean, that's also weird, just now that you mentioned it. All the thugs are this is not who you cast as thug.
And yet, that's what they did. And he did the best of anyone in that movie.
Sure.
Who do you think did better?
No one did anything
no one
positive.
did better. No
one could have done anything good in that movie. Nothing good came from that film. Other than a segue into worse films.
And now you can torture your friends more.
Yeah. So, with that said, would you like to talk about Reservoir Dogs, which I then made her watch later because after that atrocity...
he always goes around saying, I made Liz do this, I made Liz do that. And that is not true. I've wanted to see Reservoir Dogs for, forever. You didn't have to. You didn't make me do anything. I wanted to. And I liked that movie. I generally like Quentin Tarantino. I hated Pulp Fiction. But otherwise...
I hate Pulp Fiction, too. Well, I don't hate it, but I find it overrated.
I don't want to rewatch it.
Yeah, it's not, in my opinion, that great. I think it's actually one of the weakest of the Tarantino films, which is weird, because it's the one that, I guess put him on the map, so to speak, or blew up.
Mm-hmm. I also didn't like the Bride.
Kill Bill.
Kill Bill. I didn't like those either. I might like them more now that I don't hate, unhappy endings, but it didn't do anything for me back then. But anyways, Reservoir Dogs. All of these guys are named by their colors. Let's see. Mr. Brown, Mr. White, Mr. Blonde, Mr. Blue, Mr. Orange, and Mr. Pink.
Yep.
Not gonna lie, I'm still bothered by Mr. Blonde. Because, that's not just a color. That is specifically a hair color. It's just weird. Why couldn't he be like Mr. Yellow? Because it'd be racist. There's a Mr. White. And a Mr. Brown. I don't know. You get to talk about it.
So Reservoir Dogs is a heist movie that takes place out of order. You don't get to see the heist, and it's a heist that goes wrong. And it's a strong movie because it focuses on what Tarantino does best, which is like character dialogue and building up these characters. We literally open with them having, frankly, inappropriate conversation at lunch, you know? Just people rambling about stuff that is completely... completely pointless, or it's not about the plot of the movie. It's pointless to the plot of the movie. That's what I'm going for. So they're sitting there talking about what they're talking about. Like there's a nice long speech about whether or not there should be tips and all this, and you get to kind of know these characters through that, and then you start to get to know them, not all of them, but some of them through a variety of other things. Just like you get these little snippets of their lives and whatnot. And you also get to know them as things go wrong. Because, again, the movie's told kind of out of order, in sort of like we get to learn one story about each one of them in various points during the timeline of events. So it's very clear that there is this diamond heist that they've all been put together on. That's why they're using these code names. And it's gone horribly wrong. So they're meeting up after the diamond heist to discuss what went wrong, find out who's still alive, find out what they're going to do. And that's the core concept of the movie. And I think it's a classic. It's definitely not for everyone. It is violent, and there's some language stuff and whatnot.
It's super violent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty violent.
Dude gets tortured.
Yeah, he does. Famous scene.
Yeah, they play a song from the 70s, and
Stunning.
Robert was like, "It's gonna ruin it for you." And I was like, this isn't like a song I re-listen to all the time, so... Still don't even remember what song it was. You were about to sing it?
Stuck in the Middle with You.
Yes, I know that song. I knew it then too, but like it's not like one of the songs for me.
The 60s never dies. the radio host voice was funny, but whatever. So yeah, it's a really, really well-made movie, and you get all these excellent performances. Steve Buscemi does a great job.
As Mr. Pink.
Yeah. And I believe it's based on another movie. I believe it's a Korean film.
Oh.
Let me see. It's been a long time since I've rambled about this. No, it's based on an older movie. Something else he did was based on a Korean film. Am I thinking of... Sorry, The Departed is based on a Korean film. Something like that. Point is, The Reservoir Dogs is based on another film called The Killing.
By Stanley Kubrick.
Yep.
Kubrick.
Yeah, and I've actually never seen it, which is funny because I love Kubrick. Yeah. It is a really good movie. You liked it.
It was also inspired by Kansas City Confidential. I don't think I've seen a single Kubrick film that I've liked, so I'm good.
You just fine.
You do that, but I haven't liked any of the ones I've seen. Like, what was it? Did he do The Departed? Who did The Departed?
I think it was him. Yes. No, wait. That's not Kubrick. That's Oh my God, I can't think of his name. You like Doctor Strangelove, don't you?
That was Kubrick?
Yes.
I loved Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I knew there was one of his that you liked.
Okay, but wait, did he do Eyes Wide Shut and 2001: A Space Odyssey?
Yes.
Hated both of those.
Okay, 2001, he did Clockwork Orange.
Hated that
you
one.
You hate, yes. Spartacus, The Killing, Paths of Glory, Lolita, Barry Lyndon, and Full Metal Jacket.
Haven't seen any of those. But because he had such a trashy track record with me, don't know if it's worth it.
I don't know if you'd like Full Metal Jacket. It is incredibly famous.
Isn't it based off one of the wars? And it's
Vietnam.
super depressing?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Vietnam War of all of them. Ooh.
Well, the two Vietnam War
Oof.
movies are Full Metal Jacket and... I want to say Heart of Darkness, because that's the book it's based on.
I have read that book.
Oh my God, Heart of Darkness.
I like how the book ended.
I can't
It
remember.
literally was like,
Apocalypse
roll
Now.
credits.
Apocalypse Now.
Oh, there was a Buffy episode where they spoofed that.
And there's
You
also-
understood that reference,
Yes.
and I did not.
There's also a video game that's based off it that's quite... Well, there's several, but there's one that's kind of famous that's quite good that I think you've seen stuff about. Spec Ops: The Line.
Nope.
Okay, never mind. We
Got
talked about
nothing.
it, but...
Well,
So
I
yeah,
don't remember.
point
How's
is,
that?
Kubrick makes good stuff.
According to him.
You like Strangelove?
I like one of them. And I hate the other ones. Like, burning passion, hate them, never want to see them again, hate.
I see. Tarantino makes good movies.
Yeah. And, Reservoir Dogs. Really good. And I had to go get my pills, so I don't remember everything you said. Did you say that they eventually realize that they think there's a cop involved?
No.
No? Well, they think that they have been double-crossed.
Mm-hmm.
And so they all start getting suspicious of one another. And Mr. Pink, in particular, Steve Buscemi, is awesome and hilarious.
Yeah, it's really good. Like, it's a classic. It's a classic for a reason. It's what made me realize that Tarantino could be good, because I feel like I watched Kill Bill, and I was like, that was okay. It's stylized, but it's not astounding. And then I watched Pulp Fiction, and I was like, that was disappointing. I did not enjoy it. And so I was like, yeah, you should watch Reservoir Dogs. And I was like, fine, okay. And I was like, oh, that was astounding.
So good.
So yeah.
We have like 5 minutes. Is there something else you want to talk about?
We can talk about. Give me a moment, please. Clueless. Okay, fine. We'll save it for another day.
You keep doing this to me with movies I love. Why do you hate me?
I just don't know what to say about it.
You know what? We spent like an entire 45 minutes discussing Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah, that was the good one. I didn't.
You said that Clueless was good.
It was.
What else is on our list?
What's left? We've only got a few.
I mean, we can just...
The Boys, Daredevil, Clueless, and Glass Onion.
I mean, do we have a lot to say about Glass Onion?
I could rant about that for weeks.
Fine, let's talk
But
about
nothing
Clueless.
No,
Clueless is based off of
no.
Emma, which is another Jane Austen novel. I haven't read Emma, so whoop. But I have, however, watched the internet series that was done by the same people who did the Lizzie Bennet Diaries, and I liked that one as well. But Clueless stars Cher and her best friend Dion. They are both named after famous singers who now do infomercials.
Yeah.
I love it. Like, they all talk like they are in college and very... The menu, what's the word I'm looking for? Pretentious. But I love it. It's amazing. And Paul Rudd, Ant-Man, is in it, and he is a baby and barely looks like he's aged to this day. Like, you could tell that he's younger in Clueless, but barely looks like it. It has really, really funny scenes. A lot of pop culture references from the 80s and 90s, which I still love, so I'm cool with it. Do you have anything you want to say? Wow.
It's okay. Like, it's a good movie. It's just, it's very weird because, first of all, it's got a sort of vibe that you don't see a lot anymore of, like, yep, this is just the rich, spoiled girl pretty much getting what she wants the entire movie. Except she's not spoiled, I would say.
She starts out very spoiled.
And she still is, in a way, but she's not...
She's a much better person by the end of the movie.
Well, no, even at the start of the movie, she's not necessarily a bad person. She's just not
spoiled.
A good person, you know?
Well, yeah, her mom died when she was a baby.
Yeah.
And so she was raised by her father, who's a litigator. Is that it? That's the kind of lawyer he is?
Yeah.
Which is the meanest kind of lawyer? Is that what she said?
Yes.
So, and, oh my god, you guys, growing up, I don't remember the father being very memorable. Like, I loved Cher, and I loved Josh, but now as an adult, when I was watching it with DJ, I was like, holy crap, it's the Twilight effect. The dad is the best character in the movie!
Yeah.
He was hilarious!
Yeah.
Like, every time he spoke, I was like, that is what the adult audience is thinking. Yes.
Like,
that
I
was
don't have
perfection.
time for your nonsense. Sure, whatever. Go. Get out. Just
Like, she comes in and she has, done all these shenanigans to get her grades better. And, her dad is a lawyer, so he's all about debating and whatnot. So going back, not accepting your first draft isn't the word, but that's the idea. He's proud of that. And then she brings in her new report card, and he's like, what is this? And she's like, that's my report card. And he was like, is this the same semester? She's like, yeah. And he stands up, and he goes over to hug her, and he's like, or no, she asks, are you proud of me? And he's like, I'm so proud. I couldn't be prouder, even if they were based on real grades. Essentially,
even if they were real, essentially.
Yeah, it was so funny, because I was just like, where's the lie?
Yeah.
Like, especially in this day and age in America, we are all about, grades, tests, Scantron tests, all of this stuff. And it's just like, you don't really learn anything from that crap.
A lot of it, no.
Yeah, exactly. And, but her debates were hilarious, and I loved them. If we want to just party with the Haitians... In my memory, she said Haitians. So I don't know if they filmed it one way when she said it properly and they filmed it another way when they said it wrong. But I feel like as a kid, I would not have necessarily known it was pronounced Haitians. But that, in my memory, that's how she said it. So every time she said Haitians, I was like, that sounds wrong. Why is she saying that? I may not have noticed when I was a kid. I don't know. But... Yeah. I love that movie.
No, it was fun. I don't feel the chemistry as strongly as you do between the main characters.
I feel it so much, so badly, so much. I don't know what I just said. So bad. It was weird.
Yeah, it was weird. So I mean, its core concept is a choice. I don't even know. I don't know how to, like... It's just, it's weird to me, because, we're seeing just a bunch of Rich Valley kids living the Rich Valley kid life, and there's not, any maliciousness in it. We've made it, not nearly to the level of, again, I compared it to Jawbreaker, which is, the same movie with a lot less class. In some ways. And that, we're going to take someone and we're going to make them fancy and we're going to indoctrinate them into our group and, make them popular and...
That was the premise of Jawbreakers,
Yeah, that's why I said it was Jawbreaker!
I saw Jawbreakers in, elementary or middle school,
Me too.
And the first character that died was named Elizabeth. And
Yeah.
that was the memorable
I should not have watched
part
it
for
in
me.
middle school for what it's worth. It was... I did not like it, and I still don't, but...
The Elizabeth's death kind of traumatized me, because I was just like... I can never have a Jawbreaker, because I would absolutely swallow it and choke on it. I choke on my own freaking spit.
Yeah, so, the core concept is so similar, but in Jawbreaker, they're all terrible people, is basically the idea. Whereas in this, even though their core idea is we're going to make her better, and it's all done out of a place of closer to kindness. And it doesn't... It's not malicious. It's just not. It's ignorant sometimes. That's the point. Is the character's a little ditzy or, missing the point or whatnot. And they grow as a character throughout the movie. But, they do fairly nice things in setups that in other movies might not be considered nice, or they might learn the hard way that, manipulating people like that doesn't actually end well. But no, in this movie, it all ends well. It's fine. We made the teachers fall in love. It's fine. That doesn't blow up. There's no downside. It's not a lesson about how you treat... It's just look, it's a movie. Relax. We're going to do this. And that's fine. And then again, just the whole, rich girl kind of gets what she wants. She is an atrociously, dangerously bad driver.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And she does not get her license because of it, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, which also is a weird thing that they don't really... Whatever. Her dad never punishes her for any of her weird like, for most of it, it's not really something to be punished for from the dad's point of view, which, like, while I maybe don't agree with that exactly, you can kind of see where he's coming from, where it's like, hey, you got A's and I'm a litigator, so if you argued for your A's or you did other things to get your A's, that's still an A, fine.
I'm proud.
But her driving kind of stuck out to me as, like, how are you not grounded for life?
Well, he straight up was like, you are not allowed to drive with anyone that is not a licensed driver anymore. Yeah, you cannot drive around with Dion. 2 permits does not equal a license.
Yeah, I know. There's that one scene, but it seems light considering the nonsense she does, but whatever.
I mean, he could pay, like, he literally bought that Jeep for her to get into accidents with it, was my understanding.
Yeah,
like, he makes enough money that he does not give a crap.
Well, yeah, until she runs someone over and she goes to jail. But, yeah, I mean...
He will lawyer her out of that.
Yeah, okay.
I know, it's a movie.
It's a movie, is, I believe, the answer, yes. And so, I mean, it just wasn't exactly what I was expecting. What's the girl's name? Ty?
Ty.
Ty is a choice. I don't have any problems with her. It's just not exactly what I was expecting. And it's, again, kind of weird. Like, and then they have Elton for, like, a huge part of it, and that seemed, like, super obvious where that was going. Like, oh, Elton, I can hook him up with you. It'll go fine. Like, Elton is...
A douche canoe.
Not only that, but he has kissed her in, like, 3 scenes. But sure. I'm sure it'll work this time.
I mean, the ones when he kissed her on the cheek, like, I feel like you were blowing that way out of proportion. It is
so clear he is all over her in a way that is...
Yes, but Cher herself is a rich... I was going to say a bad word there.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, like, I feel like it's... Because Christian is the same way. He's also really affectionate. And... You know, if you don't feel that way about someone, you don't realize. I mean, heck, I've had crushes on people before, and I've been told, "Oh yeah, he was flirting with you," and I'm just like, what? I didn't know.
I thought it was incredible.
Some of us are really stupid, okay?
Yeah, no. So
we're really dense. Deal with it.
Yeah, you would not float. So,
I would not float because I'm dense.
Yes.
I am not Saturn, you guys. I apologize.
Saturn floats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That planet would float.
So does, let me think about this. Gold. Or is it lead if you put it in mercury? It's been a long time since I did chemistry. Yeah,
you are so weird.
It's a neat thing. You can get like a anvil floating in mercury. It's neat. Maybe
Mercury, though, makes me think the Sicilian from Pride and Prejudice is in this movie.
Yes.
And he is... awesome.
Yeah.
He's the debate teacher.
I mean, it's a fun movie. I don't regret watching it. I enjoyed watching it. It didn't really stick out for me. And again, I think part of that's because, like, I didn't feel the chemistry between the characters.
See, and I did. In my soul, I still ship them. In my mind, they had all the babies, and they are still happy to this day.
Okay. No, Liz will write some Clueless fan fiction for you all.
I've never written fan fiction in my
life.
life.
This is a good place to
start. I don't know why you guys are all obsessed with saying things like that.
I see.
I would, however, probably read fan fiction about them.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, I'd rather just rewatch the movie. I love that movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say I do like Pride and Prejudice more. So of all the adaptations I've seen of Jane Austen's anything, Pride and Prejudice, the movie with Keira Knightley, is still number 1 for me.
Okay.
But Clueless is number 2. And then probably the Lizzie Bennet Diaries is number 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Ooh, we do still have to watch the Pride and Prejudice TV series.
We do. I have been told this.
Uh-huh.
By you.
And others. I think it was your mom?
Possible, yes.
Yeah.
That sounds like a mom thing. She
like
does suggest things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the end of the cat from Tiny Stockings Ornaments. I got 5 hours and 57 minutes of footage compared to the previous time I did this, where it was 3 hours and 14 minutes of footage. So, including, you know, picking out the colors and knotting things off, it takes a lot longer. It's so cute. And I get to do it again. And I was actually thinking, instead of having the camera over here, maybe I'll put it behind me and you can see my right hand on the back. I feel like that could be interesting. I don't know. By the time you see this, I will have already filmed it, so it'll be too late to be like, Liz, do this. Sorry. I finished book 3 of the Codex Alera? Codexa or Codex? Codex Alera? What is it, Devoted? Codex Alera. I finished Cursor's Fury. I also began the next book. So, you know, there's a lot of crying if you were paying attention to me rather than the cross-stitching. I reacted to a lot of things. So far, my top 3 favorite characters are all still alive. Shut up. That's what I already said.
So far for now.
So, yeah. Today's Sunday, so I'm not going to be able to cross-stitch tomorrow. I'm ready to go to bed, though. It is dark. Like, subscribe, share, comment, all that jazz. And I'll see you guys next video.